next season. If that's the case, Tom, does Eddie Howe deserve manager of the season regardless of what Arteta does, or does Arteta have to win the league to get manager of the season if Eddie Howe gets Newcastle into the top four?
So on the Champions League, I do expect you to be in Champions League football next season. And it's a brilliant achievement what you've done, because I don't look at Newcastle and go, oh, it's because they spent loads of money, that's why they're in the top four. It's like, no, they've appointed really well. They've made some really astute signings for, not unreasonable amounts of money in the league. And it's not like, the Man Cities and Chelseas that went out and spent 100 million on players. Yes, you've invested a lot in someone like Isaac, for instance. But he's kind of the one you look at as the sole big fee, whereas you look at Guimaraes as a really good figure, Pope, Byrne, these players that have come in, even Willock at £25 million, reasonable figures for Premier League level players coming in. So I think that it's an amazing achievement what Newcastle have done, and all credit goes to Eddie Howe, and that leads into that second question. For me, if Arsenal were to win the league, I think Arteta rightly would deserve manager of the season. Based upon taking a team from fifth, adding those players in the summer and then moving that up to a team that have beaten arguably probably the best sides. And I talk about Arsenal's invincibles a lot, but if there's a team that comes close to Arsenal's invincibles, it's this Manchester City iteration under Pep Guardiola as being the best ever Premier League side, with Erling Haaland up top. Adding that to that mix is it's a cheat code, basically, is what it is. It's often described. So yeah, I think Arteta would deserve it if he won the league. If he doesn't win the league, I think there's two candidates for it. I don't necessarily look at Pep as the guy, because I think I look at Erling Haaland as the guy that's kind of led Man City to where they are this year. And you look at his goals and the lack of goals elsewhere that's kind of detail that. Not that he's carried Pep in any way. Pep's obviously very much deserving of credit. But I just think that you look at Eddie Howe and you look at the obvious other candidate is De Zerbi at Brighton as the two candidates, I think, for manager of the season if Arsenal don't win the league. I'd probably give it to Eddie Howe based upon the work that I talked about, the individual coaching of players.